Rock and roll may live forever, but we only retire once. Kevin Lamour of Our Financial Plans and Quadris Investment Services offers a large range of financial solutions from some of the biggest leaders in the investment and insurance landscape of Canada. See how a solid financial plan built with friendly and professional advice can help. Find out more at ourfinancialplans.ca or give them a call at 705-949-1316. Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of the Lonesome Cowboy Podcast. I don't have my logo up in the background. That's terrible. I just realized that. And today I got a brand new guest for you, and came from a referral from another friend who was a guest also. And today, from the Oshawa area, I have Daniel Raymond. How are you, Daniel?
Great, Brian. Thanks so much for having me on.
Excellent,
How are you doing?
excellent. So far, so good, sir.
Good.
I got to start off right off the bat, Daniel. My first thing that caught me with the first lines in your bio caught my attention. A 20-year hiatus. So that brings up the question: what were you doing, and why?
What was I doing and why?
I think I
So,
know, but go ahead.
yeah, I mean, probably a not atypical story where tried to make a run at doing things with music in my 20s. So that would
Hmm.
be the 90s. So it's funny, even looking at your podcast and saying, talking about the music industry, like I have these two sort of really up close senses of the music scene, sort of in the 90s and a bit now. And then sort of it's a gap from 2000 to 2020 because I sort of got discouraged at that point and decided to switch sort of my focus and ended up I was teaching for a while and then moved into addictions counseling.
Okay, cool.
So career-wise, I've spent the last 20 years as an addictions counselor and then eventually psychotherapist and college teacher. I'm teaching addictions and mental health. And then, of course,
Wow.
getting married and having kids and doing all those fun things too. And 2020, it just sort of was that sort of part in parenting and work where it was like, I think I've got some breathing room here to do some other stuff again. And it actually, it's funny because what one of the things that made me want to do it again was Gord Downey passing away or
Oh,
that
wow.
final
Yeah,
tour
right
from the
on. Yeah,
hip.
yeah, yeah.
I can remember the moment during the last show in Kingston when he was kissing each of the band members on the lips before they went on stage.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, why am I not playing music with my friends? It doesn't matter if it gets big or it doesn't matter if we're perfect or good. Like, life's too
Yeah,
short. Why have I
yeah, yeah.
stopped doing this?
Well, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then away you went.
And then away I went and then just started off with cover. You and I were briefly talking before about
Yeah.
how a lot of the shows are cover shows. So it's my friend who I'd been playing with, Mike, Minnie, and I have been played together since we're in high school. So we
Nice.
started off with doing a birthday party for my wife and then started playing local cover shows. And then same arc where like when we first started playing in high school, it was
Yeah, right.
covers, and then you get bored with that and start to write your own stuff. And it went through the exact same cycle.
So are you a doctor, Daniel?
I'm not a doctor, so I have a
Okay.
master's degree, but not a doctor.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's it's kind of interesting because I have spoken to so many musicians, and I was just, if you saw me side glancing, I was looking for an old file from a podcast I did a few years ago where I've interviewed another fellow from a band, Econoline Crush,
Oh, Caroline Crush. Yeah, I remember the
and,
name. Yeah.
and the lead singer is in mental health working. He's a nurse,
Yeah.
and and he wrote a book and all that, and that's why I interviewed him. And it's all kinds of them. I've encountered other doctors here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
other folks. I mean, and our friend Maureen was one of those people who works in mental health and is a musician. You know,
Yeah, we're very, very close in sort of what we do, right? Like,
yeah,
and they do, I mean, both involve a fair bit of sensitivity and patience, and
yeah,
so and you need some self-expression when you're in this field too,
yeah,
because you're
yeah,
very focused on others often. So
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, that's That's yeah, and interesting. And the other one that I've encountered so far, and I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but the trade that a lot of other musicians are into is a mortician.
Really?
I have interviewed three full-time musicians who were once or still are morticians.
Was one of them because there's
Tara Spencer.
oh, I didn't realize Tara Spencer was. I
Yeah.
know up north of here in Uxbridge.
Oh yeah.
What's his? I can't remember his name, but he's a mortician, funeral home director at the very least. But I think it's all
Well, that might
combined.
be he's there's two guys from the Sioux who are musicians like that. There's Dano O'Shea from My Son the Hurricane.
Yeah.
He's a mortician, and then there's Sagen Pierce.
Sajan's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Sajan's
and
down
he's from Sault
in
Ste.
Uxbridge
Marie.
now. Yeah. Yes. Isn't that funny, eh?
See, people say, "Well, it's only three." For musicians, I think that's just three too many.
That is three too many.
Because I always get the question I ask you. I say, "Well, Daniel, have you been able to help other musicians with your mental health training and so on and so forth?" And then I think about the morticians and go, "No, we're not going to go there." Yeah, we're done dying at 27. It's okay.
Yes, that's right.
Tell me about this new EP you got out, Daniel. It's not quite a year old. It was born in March of 2025, I think.
The EP was March 2024, so
Oh,
it's
24. So
older now.
it's older
Yeah,
now. Okay,
and
sorry, I
but there's a
misread the
real
title.
no, it's
The
okay.
info.
It's okay because it still feels new to
Good.
me.
Good.
So it was, I mean, I guess the big thing about it is I recorded it with Jim Bryson up in the Ottawa area,
I know
which
that
was
name.
yeah, so Jim's been around for quite a while. I
Okay.
think since the well, probably since the time I was, but I think sort of broke bigger around the early 2000s. And he's in Stittsville, Ottawa, but he's part of that whole Ottawa area.
Yeah.
I know he played with the Hip for a while. He's very closely linked. He toured with because he's a side musician too, so he plays
Gotcha.
with Kathleen Edwards, and he has a really nice little home studio there. And the first two recordings I'd done were with the same person. So I just wanted to do something different production wise.
Hmm.
And Jim has sort of a bit more of a like he uses synths and things a bit more than typical folk studio or folk or
Yeah.
country people do. So it was just sort of, and I met him at a songwriter workshop in Wolf Island, and funny guy and nice guy. So that was a fun process to really be produced, to have
Oh, yeah,
somebody
right.
that you trust do the production work. And then writing wise, I think I was writing thematically different things and trying to write. I mean, is often from your own life, but it's not quite as autobiographical. There are a bit more
Yeah.
narratives, but two of the four, and then but trying to use story more as sort of a songwriting vehicle because you sort
Hmm.
of run like as you get older, life changes at a slower pace, I find too. So I'm like, I've kind of covered these topics. I need to move into different.
That's a good way to use a producer. I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, because they hear different things too. So it was,
Hmm.
yeah, it was a different process production wise, songwriting wise. I was in a different mode, and I just started to do songwriting workshops. So I was thinking a bit more um, from a listener point of view instead of like a lot of the songs before that were like, what do I want to express? What do I want to say about me? And of course, you
Hmm.
want listeners to connect, but I was a bit more attuned to that idea.
Right.
And yeah, so it was a very fun. I'm really happy with that
Good
project.
stuff. I'm glad. Yeah, it's beautifully recorded, by the way. I just was listening to a track or two on Bandcamp, and I went, "Man, that's crisp." It's like it's just complete, beautiful background dead, and then just you, and it was awesome. So kudos
Thanks
to the engineering and
to
mastering on
Jim.
that
That's
one.
really Jim. Yeah, yeah.
Good stuff. Now, you were an active musician in the 90s, as we were
Hmm.
talking about, and
Hmm.
with a few names and stuff like that that you got to play with and open for. And I'm always curious because, yes, I was playing, but I was just cover band, local band kind of thing, you know what I mean, when I
Yeah.
did that stuff. So tell me about, I guess I'm looking for someone who can speak to the contrast of that music scene back in the 90s when we only had the 20th century music business and
Yeah.
now as compared to the 21st century music business. What was it like for a musician then as compared to now?
I think for Canadian musicians particularly, I think
Yeah.
the 90s was a really great time. There, because that's when independent, I mean, the punk scene had sort of paved the way, I think, for independent music.
Yeah, I would agree.
But then by the 90s, there was more sort of, I wouldn't say pop, but like your Blue Rodeos and Spirit of the West and
Yeah, yeah.
Sky Diggers and all those. Like there was just this sort of well-trod path that you could go down, and it just felt possible. I think in the 90s, it felt possible to um, be a musician without having a record company
Mm.
behind it, even though that was always like we were a little too, it's one of the things I regret. We were kind of preoccupied with you got to get signed, you got to get signed. And it's that still, there's still a lot of power in that, but suddenly there was this other route. So um, there's lots of places to play. Like there's lots of places to play. There's lots of bands playing, and the bands, there's something special about your heroes or the bands you look up to being accessible, like that you can crisscross when you're on the road with a band that you love the same way people used to love Led Zeppelin and things, like
Hmm.
they're all accessible people
Yeah.
and they're at a higher level than you, but you're still sort of crisscrossing. And it was a fun time and it's inspiring too because it felt possible. It felt possible to.
Yeah, because you didn't have AI you were dealing with. I mean, there was streaming, but it's not like now it's the only game in town, and we're trying to re-educate the audience to go back to physical product again.
It's funny because that's one thing I've noticed just recording how quickly now people consume your music. Like,
Yeah.
I think if you recorded because we're similar age, like if I bought a CD or a record or a cassette or a single,
Hmm.
I was like, well, I've invested in this. I'm going to listen to it 20 times, whether I like it or not. I'm going to try my best to like it. And then if you did really like it, you would just listen to it again and again and again. And
Yeah.
I just find people now, they consume music like fast food. Like they'll say, oh,
Yeah.
great song. When's your next one? You're like,
Yeah.
my next one.
Yeah.
It took me like,
Yeah. Yeah. So
the
I
better part
I
of a year to put these
yeah.
out.
It's like they say, you're renting music. You're not collecting music anymore. And
Yeah.
that's what's missing, the collecting. We do vinyl and that, sure, but vinyl's gotten expensive. So, we're always looking for some way to educate them, but when
I
they
think
haven't experienced,
audience-wise too, I think because of my age at the time, when you're in your 20s, people are much more open to new music and hearing new things in their
oh yeah,
20s.
yeah,
So if I play someplace it's hard to get people in their 50s to come out and listen to something new
yeah, and that's
because
my audience, over 55 and over.
same with me, because young people, that style of music isn't something they're going to go out and see. But people in their 50s are so kind of like, I've got my 10 bands that I like, and I'm not really moving beyond. So it's different. It's not just the 90s difference, it's the difference in where we are on the
Yeah, yeah,
the age
exactly.
spectrum.
Yeah, there you go. I know, and this may be. I'm just making an assumption, but I was today's music business is always telling us that you got to sell merch, you got to sell merch, you got to sell merch. And
Mhm.
I noticed on your website, I thought, good on you. And I click on your merch because I always do because I have. I went on tour for 10 days with hardly like nothing for merch. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And because I just don't sell it normally. And I sold very little of it. Now, when I clicked on your merch link, I just got music. And I went, hey, cool. And you're darn right. That's the merch. That's our merch.
That is the although I can see, like in doing it again, the one thing that really strikes me is how does anyone make a living at this? Like it is so hard because people
I'm
expect
trying.
They expect their music. They expect the recorded music for free. They don't want to pay a lot at venues. Bars don't pay. So I have the luxury of I have a primary career, so I don't have to sell merch. So I feel self-conscious about selling merch.
T-shirts with
But
your
if
face on it.
if I was trying to pay my rent with it, I'd have merch because you can see, and I always tell my son when he goes to see bands, because he's a teenager, so he's at
Oh
that
yeah.
it's fun to watch him. Like he just loves music so much and he's absorbing it so
Good,
quickly. And he's dedicated to the stuff he likes. But I'm
good,
like,
good,
here's money, buy their shirts because that's the only way they're making their money.
good for
Like,
you.
yes, it's an $80 t-shirt, but that's probably
Yeah,
mostly going to them.
yeah, I would say you're correct.
Yeah.
As long as the venue who now wants to take a cut of that too, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, it's the best of times and worst of times because it's
Hmm.
great that you can put stuff out. We've now got the technology on, to record for much lower cost, to get your music out all
Yeah,
over the entire
yeah,
world like that. So in a way, it's great if you just want your music to be out there, but to to build a career around it, it's been an education for me to
hmm.
see like, wow, this is so difficult now. It was difficult in the night, and not that it was easy then, but I'm like,
No,
oh, it got harder.
yeah, it did. Yeah, it didn't get easier. It got harder. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's like they say about AI. I said I don't want AI to make music or art or anything like that for me. I want AI to do my dishes and clean the house so I can have
Yes.
time to make music and art. That kind of.
Yes. Yeah, that's the dream.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so you're college teaching, and that's what you did on your hiatus. Is you went and got your degrees and got yourself a day job, and then said, okay, now I'll go back to music now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I did miss it, and it's a pretty big part
Yeah.
of who I am. And I kind of want, like, I'll sometimes have my kids get up and play for a song or two with
Oh,
me
nice.
too. So
Good stuff.
part of it is like they, so they like it's normal for them to have a parent who's sitting around playing music an hour or two a day,
Yeah.
And so that I like that too.
Yeah.
That first of all, they know that's part of me,
Yeah.
but it kind of subtly is trying to bake it into them too,
Yeah.
because I'd love for them
Yeah.
to have this as part of their life. Because I say to my kids all the time, like a lot of the most important people in my life, like 90% of them, I've met through music somehow,
See? Yeah.
whether playing music or we met at a concert or we met because of our love of something else. Like it's such an
Mm-hmm.
important thing.
Yeah. So, plans for 2026. I suppose touring really, when you got your kind of background, touring is kind of a tough go, eh? Just to pick up and take off for a while.
Well, I mean, the college you're off in the summer, so
True. Yeah. I never thought of that. Yeah,
there
that's
is that
right.
opportunity.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of new songs that I recorded at the end of last summer with
Cool.
Jim. So I'd been sitting on them because I had some good shows in the fall, and I had other things going. Both my parents passed away within the past
Uh,
year, so it just I wasn't in the space
Been there, done
to
that.
go through the incredible effort and vulnerability it takes to release something too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people realize what a vulnerable thing you would, musicians would,
I do. Yeah.
what a vulnerable thing it is to put your stuff out to the world.
Yeah. And
And so I was like, I was not in a space to sort of first have the energy to make that happen. And second of all, to go through the whole emotional roller coaster that is
yeah.
releasing stuff. So now it's funny. I was just emailing with someone trying to figure out to put a video together for what, like I might build a little mini tour in the spring, in the summer
Sure.
around releasing a couple of songs.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's something I found too with people consuming it quickly. I'm like, oh, if you do an 8 song album, people sort of grab onto two of the songs and the other six get lost almost.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. I'm awful in that respect as far as I when I sit down and write songs and I get ready, I don't get afraid to put them out. I get my attitude is, and I'm trying to break it,
oh,
is one of what does it matter? Because I got $16 in streaming revenue after 4 years. You know what I
right.
mean? Like
That's pretty good.
yeah.
That's $16 is pretty good.
As a, I've never had. I'm demonetized. Like I said, I'm off Spotify because I got demonetized with everybody else. So I just said to heck with it. I'm not using it because it just
Yeah.
makes me look bad.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And unfortunately, the festivals and the venues, and I get where they're coming from, but it's not a fair metric to judge people on.
I struggle with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with me taking my time, it's funny because after the last album, there was something in me that's like, okay, like I it felt like a finish line of sorts. I was really happy with that project, and I've had some really good shows in the
Hmm.
past year. So I've sort of had this sense of satisfaction I just wanted to sit in for a while. And I also hadn't been writing a lot through the last year too. So I'm kind of trying to stretch it out because I do find I have to intentionally make space to write. Stuff comes if I make the space to do it.
Cool.
But it's hard to hold that space. Like I don't, maybe once every couple of years I'll get a song sort of fall on my lap, but I usually have to like mine for it.
Well, that's what they say, right? That inspiration will find you when you're working.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm trying to enjoy, it's funny that there's a really good Jeff Tweedy book about, I can't remember which one it was, but I really like Jeff Tweedy's music from Wilco. And he's a great writer too. And he talked about sort of all of it being creative. Like
Uh,
I love doing the album art. I have a really good friend who's an artist and talking about the album art.
cool.
And I love thinking about the videos or even creatively, where could I play that's a different plate? Like just trying to use creativity, not just on the song and the music, but
Yeah, yeah,
how can we do something different with this show or how we set it up to make it just not sitting in the corner of a sports bar playing to nobody who's listening.
yeah, cool. I have to ask about because you've written a song that involves hockey, and I wrote a song that involves hockey too.
All right.
Um, and it looks like it also stems back from when you used to play on the street with your friends.
Yep.
So tell me about Palmatier.
Yeah, Mike Palmatier, Leafs
Yeah,
goalie from the mid 70s to the early 80s, and then he got traded to the Washington Capitals.
there you go.
So it was, he was one of my first heroes. I think Spider-Man was my first hero, and Mike Palmatier was probably my second
Nice.
hero. And so I just wrote that song. It was a meditation on a couple of things. One was just childhood, right? Like thinking
Sure.
back to those
Yeah.
days. But it's also, I thought a lot about like what makes a person like being a goalie versus a player and how you start emulating your hero. And then I was thinking about like looking at pictures of childhood friends and thinking like, man, we were all kind of who we are already by 8 or 9. So there's all these things built into it. So I'd done so many different versions of the song, but then the cool thing is once I released it, about a year later, just a random person on Dan, I can't remember his last name now. I should remember it because he does Sharpie art. He draws pictures
Oh,
with
cool.
Sharpies.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel really bad that I don't remember his last name, but he contacted me out of the blue and said, "Have you ever met Mike Palmatier?" And I said, "No." He said, "I'm buddies with him. Can I show him this song?" I'm like, "Yes, please do." And then one day he just phoned me and he had Mike Palmatier in the car with him on the phone.
Ah,
And Mike
no
Palmatier
way.
sent me this video
No
message.
way.
I've got this great message.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
send it to you after because it's a funny story.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Cool.
then the same guy, Dan, had arranged for me to play for Mike Palmatier.
I
They do
saw the
these like,
picture on your website.
yeah. So it was
Yeah,
a
that is
real
so cool,
full
man.
circle,
Yeah,
amazing,
that is so
amazing
cool.
thing. Yeah.
Well, I won't go into it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on my song called Road Hockey.
Oh my God. These could not be much more. Yeah, because I'm picturing road hockey, not ice hockey.
There you go.
When
Yeah,
in that
exactly.
pretending to be
Yeah,
Palmatier was total street
yeah,
hockey.
yeah.
Yeah.
I played like organized hockey way too late. I didn't get started at like 5 with the rest of these kids. I started at 13.
Same with
So
me. Grade
I
six,
would,
whatever age you are in grade six. I distinctly remember
yeah,
starting
and
in.
I sucked.
Yeah, Park League. That was
Yeah,
it.
and yeah, it was called recreational league that we were in, and
Yeah.
um, but I was good at road hockey.
Me too. The king.
Oh yeah, that's why I wanted to be in net when I went to regular hockey because I was good in net on
And
the
you couldn't
street.
skate like skating wise, they'd always
Oh
put
no,
the non-skaters in net,
yeah,
right? So
exactly, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Oh, I'll have to listen to that. That'd be
Please
great.
do. I'd love to for you to give me your thoughts on that. Would be fantastic. So Daniel, in the moments that we have left, please tell everybody where to find out about you and your music and any socials or anything else like that you got on the go.
Sure. So if you look up Daniel Raymond on Spotify and Apple Music, you can find it there. I'm also on Bandcamp. Website, danielraymondmusic.com is a good start because it's got the bio and links to all the music. Um, on Linktree, I think if you look up Daniel Raymond on Linktree, it'll have all the links, like links to
Nice.
website, links to Spotify, all
Good
those sorts
stuff.
of things. No shows to promote right now, although I'm playing with another local guy, Matt Holtby. So I just play on the side, like I'll do background vocals and keyboard and things like that. So that's another thing I'm doing is I'm focusing a bit on being a side person for
Oh,
a while,
cool. That's
which
cool.
is fun. It's fun to decorate other people's music for a while and not be front and center.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think through the winter, my focus is going to be those sorts of things. And then, like I said, I'm sort of scheming for how to release my stuff in the
Gotcha.
spring.
That's cool. And of course it's you also have the great advantage that you do play some piano,
Yeah.
keys, and you play guitar, and I see that's a ukulele banjo, but I don't know if you have a regular one too.
Just the tenor banjo, which I can make my way around,
Oh yeah,
just enough for I'll use it for flavor.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I like that.
harmonica I really like singing harmony. I
Oh yeah,
love.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
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 Well, you see, I have a wife that has a degree in music.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, as she likes to say, I'm his biggest fan and his biggest critic. That's
So
it.
you've got a producer in the house.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of funny once in a while. She says, "I've never said that." If I recall, you have, dear. But she. Oh,
We never forget a critique.
yeah. We're playing something, and I can't remember her exact words, but I'm playing something, and then I'll finish, and then I'll wait to see, and I don't hear nothing. And I said, "So, what do you think of that?" Another long pause. I know it. Yeah. Keep working on it. Okay.
Yes, the pause for the right words is always
Yeah.
the tell.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know she says, I never said that, but I've always felt she says something to the effect of, is that what you're going with?
Right. Are you sure on that one?
Great fun. Daniel Raymond, thank you so much for coming on to the program. Fantastic. And I hope that we can keep in touch. And I'm going to hit you up on the socials too, so we can keep in touch with each other. And
Likewise. I'm already subscribed on to the podcast. So
that's awesome.
yeah, I
Thank you.
wish you lived in the area too. It'd be nice if we crossed paths musically.
I'm hoping to cross paths musically with a lot of folks down in Southern Ontario and the
Yeah.
Ottawa Valley area because I was at the Folk Canada conference, and
Oh,
now I've started to get to know these people down in that Ottawa area, and I'm like going, oh man, you guys have
yeah.
got something special here, boy.
Yeah,
You
they
really
do. There
do.
is something in that. I did a really nice show up in that area this fall too. Yeah, like there's a lot of cool little venues and a whole community of people there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's nuts. Thank you again, Daniel, for coming on the program.
Hey, thank you, Brian.
You're very welcome.